Hello, welcome to JCP Live. I am Brandy Wallace, Senior Designer for JCP Kids, and we are celebrating Black History Month. This month, JCPenney has partnered with artists, and we are celebrating Black History Month. So, for me, Black History Month means a time of reflection and celebration and acknowledging all that our ancestors went through and all the work that is still yet to be done. So, with that, I want to welcome you to our live segment. And I want to let you know that you can comment below or ask any questions that you want, and that will enter you into a drawing to win a JCPenney gift card. So, with that, let's bring in our artists. Hello, Cynthia and Dan. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Brandy?
I'm well. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us. So, this is going to be a really fun segment. We are excited to have you. We're excited to talk to you about what Black excellence means to you and what you are doing to inspire change through your artwork. So, we are so happy to have you. Thank you for joining us. So, Cynthia, we'll kick things off with you, and Dan, we'll see you back on screen in a bit.
Okay.
So, Cynthia St. James, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, you have authored so many books, and you have notably designed the very first cover of Waiting to Excel, which, by the way, I recall reading that book in high school. So, I remember that iconic cover. That is pretty amazing and really amazing to be sitting here speaking with you. So, and then you also designed the very first Kwanzaa stamp for the post office. So tell me what inspiring change through your artwork means to you.
Inspiring change through my artwork. Um, I'm a self-taught artist, and I feel that the creator actually gifted me with the ability or the capability of creating images that would be uplifting and many times healing for people, or just make them feel good. So I look at it from all angles, all kinds of angles, from for the little people to people all over the world.
That's amazing. That is so true. I'm really interested to know, like, what was your inspiration behind this month's Black History Month assortment?
The assortment is almost might say was eclectic because some of the work really goes back to the 90s. The more recent work, or the one that is my favorite in the collection, is Honor's Mindset. And that's because it's inspirational to young people about having an honors mindset, which means virtually and really using their abilities to the fullest, are reaching for those higher goals in education. And that piece was commissioned by the National Association of African American Honors Programs, which are throughout, especially HBCU and other colleges throughout the United States.
That's amazing. As an HBCU alumna myself, that is a legacy that is so important. So that is an amazing contribution that you are making. So you authored so many books, and like you said, you have your artwork that hangs in many HBCUs. What does that legacy mean to you?
Well, what it does is it makes my personal legacy enormous, more than I would have ever imagined or hoped or dreamed of, because it's been 13 paintings commissioned by HBCUs and four for other colleges and universities. And right now I'm waiting to find out about a 14th commission for another HBCU. So it's extremely exciting to know that these colleges and universities actually have art of mine in their permanent collections. And then that we've also been able to do fundraising for an endowment and for scholarships through the sales of reproductions from those pieces.
Wow, that is an incredible legacy. You are not only contributing your creative art and your passion, but you are making a way for students that would not otherwise have opportunities. So that is an amazing legacy that you are leaving. Tell me, is there a particular piece from the collection that you think best showcases your the importance of community to you?
Oh God. That's so hard because since I paint from the heart, all of it's coming from the heart, and every single piece has a sense of community in its own right. So they all bring about that message and encourage that.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell from the artwork that you have behind you, it speaks so much to community and togetherness and unity. Tell me about how you find your voice in an area that people don't look like you.
Oh, it's my voice is basically my intrigue with the entire world. I'm intrigued by the entire world. And for many, many years, I really have featured cultures of the world. And I continue to learn about cultures of the world and learn and fill myself with even more joy and inspiration. Right now, I'm doing a series on the Diwali celebration, which is actually uh, East Indian, but it's celebrated all over the world in various countries. And some countries I've been to, like Fiji and Guyana and Trinidad, any population where there's quite a few East Indians. And why this series has intrigued me is the fact that it's not a religious holiday. It's a holiday about celebration of the triumph over good over evil, light over darkness. So that's a very huge sense of unity. And once again, not just the Hindu religion, but Muslim religions and all kinds of religions get together to celebrate that.
Yeah, that is. I'm very familiar with that holiday, and so that is an amazing piece of culture that you are allowing people to celebrate through your artwork. So, so tell me a little bit about some of the books that you have authored.
Oh, I most recently finished the book and released it in November. And since the wake of the pandemic, I've been working steadily at creating paintings that are uplifting, but particularly about healers, orishas, shamans, and deities. So in that particular book, it's a small book, but there's 12 of my paintings in it, and it explains the process of the painting, and it explains a lot of deities that we may have never heard of. I didn't hear of most all of them, but through my research, two that stand out in my mind was a female Buddha named Tara, celebrated all over Asia and worshipped, and then also Nana Baluku, who is the creator of the universe in Africa, a female creator of the universe, a Black African female creator of the universe. She's included in that series. And I've included Polynesian goddesses and Cherokee sun goddesses.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
Cynthia, you have so much inspiration, so much information. So you mentioned the pandemic. How has that kind of shifted the way that you work, or kind of inspired you to do things differently?
The major difference, I would say, is creating those images of uplifting deities and healers. Big focus on healers, like the Yoruba goddess of healing and the Asian goddess of healing, because we need so much healing in all over the world, especially now and through all the different things the world and the people are going through. So on my walks, which I do every day, I was trying to think of a way that I could participate in a way that would be uplifting. And I found that my belief was that if I share the healing of deities and the healing art of Cynthia St. James, that that would make some impact and would uplift people.
That is very uplifting. That sounds really, really cool, to be able to heal people through art. That, you never know how something can impact someone, and just the way that you move and the way that you create art, and how that impacts people. So that's an inspiration in itself.
Well, what was amazing to me many years ago, in the 90s, early 90s, a friend of mine shared with me the fact that her grandson, who had Down syndrome, uh, was only didn't cry as a baby whenever he was in a room in her house that had my art. So that gave me a huge clue as to healing properties. And then I've been honored to have a lot of my art in various hospitals around the country. And I've had people that have been waiting in waiting rooms and reception areas of doctors' offices and hospitals tell me that that was, for them, it was so soothing to sit in that room with the bright colors.
Wow, that is truly remarkable. It seems as though your art has a healing property on its own, which is really, really cool to see. Tell me a little bit about the way you got started. How did you get started as an artist?
As an artist, well, I was that little girl at 5 years old in New York that decided then that when I grew up, I wanted to be an artist. And I didn't just mean even at that young age, it felt very, very strong and very real, not something like, oh, I'm going to have fun and color and paint. And I thought of it seriously, very seriously. And it entered my life again, more strongly again in my later teens. But initially probably 13 or 14. And then finally at about 18, 19, I started painting and putting my art in my own space. So I'm a self-taught artist. I've never had any formal training. Uh, so I just started that way. And I was working in New York at 20 for a mortgage insurance company. And one of the attorneys there, the closers for the mortgages, noticed on paydays I was always going to an art store, bringing back art supplies to my office to get it back up, up to the Bronx later in the day when we were finished for the day. And he was the first with the leap of faith and asked me to do a piece for his apartment. So I created this abstract piece with incredible colors. And from that, I began to get commissions from my coworkers and other people. So he helped make me a professional artist literally at 20.
Wow. So part of it was just your talent, and then also knowing someone who believed in you and trusted you, and kind of pushed you to go further.
Yes, sight unseen, because he had never seen any of my art. So that's why I
Wow.
said he took a leap of faith. He
Wow.
definitely did. Yeah.
He must have seen something special in you to trust you with that.
And you know what? I'm going to have to say one thing about that mortgage insurance job and other jobs that I've gotten. Sometimes I got hired because of my neat writing. Okay. So I guess some of that reflected in things that I ended up doing for that company. Like they'd have me make charts for them for meetings and other things other than being an accounts receivable clerk. But I have to pat myself on the back because back then I was smart enough to ask for a raise.
That's good.
Right.
That's good.
Because I was also creating art, charts for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Closed mouths do not get fed.
Right.
So tell me how, you talked about someone giving you a chance, and taking a chance on you. Tell me, how do you give back and provide other opportunities for future artists?
Aside from always when I have exhibits at different colleges and universities, I always donate. Generally, it's 40% of sales back to scholarship funds for students. Um, I also have been blessed with being able to have some of my HBC students um, I've curated a show here in Los Angeles at a museum where several of my students had their first chances exhibiting. Uh, Other times I might have guest artists in an exhibit that I'm having. And I'm always open to questions or hearing something that's a concern of another artist, especially the younger ones.
That's good. That's really, really good. I love to hear about all the opportunities that you provide to the next generation of artists, and also learning from them which is so important to kind of continue to help you move forward and continue to help you have the relevancy that you own.
Yeah, it's like sharing the energy. It's the creative juices and keeping it going. Then I also have a book that I've written and I rewrote or added to, called "Living My Dream: An Artistic Approach to Marketing," that was released in 2011. And it basically is just my journey and what I've learned, and marketing tips from what I've learned from my mistakes for artists. And I was so thrilled that it was actually nominated for an Image Award. And so at least it was nominated. I'm not surprised that it didn't win, because I was up against Tavis Smiley and TD Jakes. So TD Jakes got that one. But it was a nice, strong honor in itself to be nominated. And then I went back and added years to it and released it again, and Living My Dream, the 50th anniversary celebration.
Wow, Cynthia, you are holding back an NAACP Image Award nomination is like legendary. And then being up
Yes.
against Tavis Smiley and TD Jakes, those are,
Yeah,
you know,
those were my other semifinalists. We were the semifinalists
wow,
in
you are
that
in really
category.
good company, or they
Yeah.
were in really good company as well.
Well, you know what? The NAACP has always been very, I call it smart with their fundraising, because that's a time of the year when, like even now, I just voted for the upcoming awards. Uh, it's a chance for them to get more members and pull in the monies needed to keep doing what they're doing. So for I believe 2 consecutive years after my book was nominated, I did serve on the committee, reading the books that came in to help choose those next year finalists.
Right. Wow.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
Cynthia, I feel like I could talk to you all day long. You are literally like one of my aunties now. So
Okay.
I feel
I
like we could
accept it,
chat all day
Nisi.
long.
I can accept that, Nisi.
Okay, good. So, thank you so much for sharing your stories with me and just like the journey that you've gone on. It's so incredibly inspiring, and I'm so thankful to have, exchange energy with you. So, thank you so much for allowing me to do that.
And we'll talk about those children's books next time.
Yes, we do, because I need those. I need to
I
actually
know.
have some of those for my own children. So, yes,
I haven't forgotten. I haven't
yes.
forgotten.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Cynthia. We will chat with you again soon. So let's bring in our next artist, Dan Houston.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Dan. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Doing well.
Good. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
So, Dan, as we celebrate Black History Month, tell me about the contributions of the artists that came before you, how they impacted you, and how you got to where you are.
Well, we know that Harlem Renaissance was an incredible period of time that many African American artists had an opportunity to display their work. They were more widely accepted and exposed to a much wider audience during that period. And even though that was many years before me, there is plenty of film and videos of those artists during that period of time and showing the kind of work that they did. And that has always helped me and inspired me and let me know that there was a possibility that I, as another person who wanted to be an artist, could exist in this world, and that there were people who would accept the kind of work that they were doing. So I think my earliest exposure was to people like Richard Mayhew and Benny Andrews and Ed Clark, who lived in New York. And I just saw their works in magazines and in publications. In particular, there was a magazine which just recently stopped publishing, which was Ebony. And my mother's subscribed to every issue of Ebony ever since I can remember. And whenever these events would happen, Ebony was a great vehicle for coverage. And I read the magazine from cover to cover and would always make sure that I let my mother know that I was paying attention to the artist, because that was a dream that I had as a young child, was to become an artist one day. So that was probably my earliest influence, Ebony magazine and the people that they showed and exposed to the magazine.
Interesting. Yes, I have family members that have had many Jet magazines and Ebony magazines on their coffee tables for many years. So that is pretty iconic. So tell me a little bit about, I know some of the artists that you mentioned don't necessarily look like you or me. So tell me about how that impacted how you decided to start doing art.
Well, actually, Richard Mayhew and Charles White were African American artists, and but these were early artist influences in my life. Later, when I began art school after 19 years old, the artists that influenced me were Caucasian artists, Jackson Pollock and Franz Klein and Robert Motherwell. And that's because I had begun to look at abstract art as a vehicle of expression. And the more figurative work that the African American artists were doing appealed to me, but it didn't give me the freedom to express my emotions the way I wanted to. For instance, just the word joy. In realism, it's very hard to paint joy, the word joy or happiness. But through abstraction, I learned a vehicle by which I could express my emotions more clearly. I absolutely celebrate and have celebrated Cynthia's work and her ability to convey so much emotion and feelings, many of which we all share, but I chose a different path to express mine rather than through realism, but through abstraction. So again, Jackson Pollock, Franz Klein, Robert Motherwell are probably more of the influence of most of my work, which is abstraction. This piece behind my head is an abstraction that I recently created, and that's just what I really enjoy mostly doing. And I do figurative work in another vein. Not in another vein. I do a lot of more figurative work, romantic and um, couples and things of that nature.
That's interesting. So, but you respond mostly and gravitate more towards abstract art. Is that true?
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Well, that is a wonderful way to express your feelings, and I can totally see how you can express yourself and emotions through your artwork. Um, so, in what ways do you strive to make an impact on the community through your artwork?
Well, I do. I donate work. I donate proceeds from my work when I do a private show or a show in a museum or a show in an art gallery. Sometimes it's with a school group, and it's a fundraiser more or less. And I have an opportunity to share the profits from that. I also do a line of greeting cards, an extensive line of greeting cards I created for the LGBTQ community, almost 130 different greeting cards. And in that community, I also donate a lot of money, a lot of support, and artwork, um, different pieces of my work when they have their fundraisers and events around the country. But generally speaking, one of the things I do is work with students and work with young people in my studio, teaching them how to draw, how to paint, but mostly how to draw. My background in art school taught me the classical way of drawing and how to approach drawing from simplicity. And so many of the young students don't learn that in grade school or high school. Very, very few have any kind of a program in art training that teaches them how to draw. So we have sessions like that, and sometimes they're elementary school children, sometimes they're junior high, sometimes they're young college students. But I'm able to teach and instruct, and from the learning how to draw, then we go into how to paint and lay paint on, and we learn about balance and form and structure of the human body, if that's what we're painting. And so that's another way I'm able to give back.
That's incredible, and so very important as we kind of incubate new artists. So when you were first starting out, there weren't a lot of galleries that featured Black artists. So tell me how you are working to kind of change that narrative.
Well, it's still a challenge. I mean, 50 years later, from the times of Richard Mayhew and Hale Woodrow, it's still a challenge to be accepted on the grand scale of museums and exhibitions like that. But I don't let that deter me, because I'm not trying to compete with the people they accept into museums. I know that's a whole different game, and I'm not really interested in playing that game. I just like to paint for my enjoyment, and I want to sell my work, of course. And most of my subject matter deals with love, emotion, positivity, joy, uh, and as long as I can convey that, people like what I do and how I do it. And so I'm pleased with the receptivity, even though now with COVID, the gallery business and the art business is suffering because people aren't getting out and they aren't coming to retail establishments or shows because of the COVID. But as soon as it's over, as soon as it subsides, I'm sure that life will go back to normal and it'll be good again.
Yes, prayerfully sooner than later, so we can
Preferably.
all get out and enjoy some more artwork. So, Dan, tell me a little bit about the gallery spaces that you created. You know, you started your own, where you are displaying your own artwork.
Well, I used to live in Houston, Texas for many years, and I had a publishing company there. I published art, and and then I moved from that space into a larger space where I had a large gallery space. Besides being able to publish and be a distributor of African American art, I had a gallery, and I sold a lot of original work from local artists and artists from around the United States in that gallery. That was in the mid '90s, and in 1980 I moved. Um, well, I moved from New York to Texas, where I had that gallery, and the African American art business took a real serious change, and I got out of the business of selling and producing art and went into the construction business, and formed a construction company where I remodeled homes, designed homes, built homes and townhomes and condos. And in that market, I saw a lot of modern art, which had again influenced my love and my taste for abstract work. And that went on for many years. until I decided in 2 years ago, I moved from Houston to Sarasota, Florida, and found some space and opened a large art gallery here in Sarasota. And in this gallery, in this space, I'm able to have everything in here is my work. I've got about 1,800 square feet of space. Part of it is my working studio of about 500 square feet, and the rest of the space is donated or contributed. I should say donated, but attributed to my gallery space, where I had to build out the walls and the partitions and all of that, and then create a space where I could begin to hang and display my work. So the gallery is a place where I absolutely love to be, and I spend much of my time here creating and showing and having shows. And currently, I'm not showing anyone else's artwork here but mine, but that's because I have so much work to exhibit and show that I've got to get rid of it before I start hanging other artists' works in here. But I don't know if I'm going to catch up, because I'm painting every day and creating every day. And, at my age, it's a great way to retire.
That sounds like a great way to retire. Florida, painting, your own space all to yourself. That sounds like a dream come true, actually.
Yeah. It's what I think I deserved after raising 4 children, putting them through school. At some point I said, well, you guys are on your own now. I'm getting my hat. I'm going to do what I want to do that's going to make me happy.
That's right, as you should. Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about representation and what that means to you in the art community.
That's very, very significant, very important to me, representation. We have many communities here, well, not just here, everywhere, ethnic as well as spiritual and religious communities. And I do work, I think, that serves all these different communities and interests through my different paintings. People just, they come in and they see what they like, and I do abstracts for pure abstraction, which is sometimes meant for decorators and designers and architects. They like a different kind of abstraction. And people who may have a family, parents and children, I do work that they are attracted to and support as well. It's a wide variety of interests that I have, and I also am very enthused and interested in space technology. And many of my abstract paintings are dealing with the cosmos and outer space and the gases and the planetary colors that exist in outer space. And I do a lot of work like that, and really enjoy it, because it gives me a chance to expand my imagination of what it must look like in outer space.
Wow. So even though you may never have the chance to go, you can create a space and create art to kind of exhibit what you imagine it to be. And that is the beauty of art.
Yes, yes, yes. And again, there are it's a limitless amount of colors that you can use in outer space, between the gases and the light sources, that people I know who are in astronomy and those sciences very often will look and say, well, we don't know where you got your information from, but you're right on target. These are what we see in our telescopes. These are what we see when we get our modules back and the photographs and the pictures back from space. These are the colors that we see. And I have a few people who send me stuff, and I work from that as well.
That's inspirational. So, Dan, thank you so much for speaking with me. As a creative person, I am so inspired by your journey and the longevity of your career. I'm super proud to say that I've been in your presence. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And also thank you for just allowing JCPenney to showcase and exhibit your work. If you all are interested in hearing more and seeing more about Dan's work, please check the description links. And you can also see his work on jcp.com. So I will just want to thank our artists again, Cynthia and Dan. Thank you so much. I know I have gained so much from this conversation, and I'm sure our viewers at home have as well. So thank you for being here with us and just allowing us to learn more about your passion and your artwork and how you are creating change. And just for the viewers at home, I hope that you have enjoyed this segment of JCP Live. I hope that you have gained some inspiration as well. And if you are interested in learning more, please check out the description links and jcp.com. And then also, I'm just so thankful for all of your work that you're doing with the community and how you all are just creating change. So thank you both for allowing me to interview you.
Oh, it's an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
It's
having
great
me.
being with Dan. It's great being with Dan.
Thank you,
So
Cynthia.
have you all actually worked together before?
No,
No.
I
no.
see a collaboration coming on soon.
Well, actually, I didn't start painting again until 10 years ago. And before that, I was handling other artists' works. And as a publisher and a distributor of African American artists and artists. So now I'm a full-time artist, and I get a chance to use all the things that I've learned and use all the information that I've gained from artists like Cynthia and so many others. So it's a journey, but we all learn from each other.
It's a beautiful journey.
Absolutely. As a
Yes.
creative person, I am super inspired by you all. I want to start taking up another form of creativity myself now after listening to both of you. So I'm just so honored and thankful that you both have spent so much time with us and allowed us to kind of enter your creative space. So thank you again. Thank you all of our viewers for watching and tuning in. Of course, if you want to drop a comment, please do so. It will enter you in the drawing to win a JCP gift card. Again, if you're interested to hear more on any of these artists, please go to jcp.com where you can shop their collections. And as you know, JCP's Roundup program, for every dollar you round up to, that goes to students in need, and it goes to nonprofit organizations that help Black students. So please consider rounding up this month for February. And thank you again. I hope that this has been an inspiration to you all. I hope that it inspires you to create change through whatever voice you have. So thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next time on JCP Live.